Thank you for joining IAB There.
Hi, everybody. I'm Brad Behrens, editor-in-chief here at the IAB. Welcome to IAB There, our regular streaming show where we connect the digital advertising ecosystem. This show started in the earliest days of the pandemic when we were all suddenly locked at home trying to figure out so many things, including, is anybody out there? So we started the show to let people know that, yes, other people are out there, but also, my God, what's happening out there? Things are changing. Things are changing for us as professionals. Things are changing for us as consumers. We're all consumers ourselves, as well as people who work in advertising. What's changing? Why is it changing? And even now, 15 months later, as we're starting to gloriously exit the pandemic, things are still continuing to change. One of our ongoing topics here at IAB There has been trying to track how behavior is changing and what that means for digital marketers. Just a few weeks ago, earlier this month, we had Jeffrey Cole of the Center for the Digital Future talking about the Great COVID Reset Project. Today, I'm delighted to let you know that we have eBay Ads and HP. We have Elizabeth Rommel, she is the North American General Manager for eBay Ads, and Brian Beckman, who is the head of HP's third-party marketplace stores here in the US. Why are they here? They're here because eBay has fielded a study about changing consumer behavior. They are sharing the results of this study for the first time right here on IAB There, and we have Brian joining us for insight and analysis. Let me tell you a little bit about that study. eBay's Global Insights Group fielded it last month in late May and early this month in June. They surveyed two different panels of about 2,000 people each. 2,000 eBay shoppers, 18 to 65, and another panel of about 2,000 online shoppers. The question was, to qualify for the survey, have you bought anything online in the last 12 months? And given the pandemic, if you haven't bought something online over the last 12 months, then you're quite an individual who I'd really like to meet. So let's bring Elizabeth Rommel of eBay and Brian Beckman of HP onto the stream. Elizabeth and Brian, welcome to IAB There.
Thanks, Brad.
Thanks, Brad. Really excited to be here. Great introduction.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. So let's start with Elizabeth, because you're pretty new to eBay. So tell us a little bit about your background and how this journey led to the eBay destination.
Sure. Thank you so much. I'm super excited to be here as well. As you said, I've been at eBay for about 3 months, so I'm still brand new in figuring out this great company. But I was so excited to join the team because of the opportunity we have to build upon. One thing I was surprised to learn is eBay Ads is already $1 billion business, and that's an amazing foundation to build upon. But the opportunity going forward is just enormous. And one of the reasons I'm excited about that is, although my career has been a little bit of a jungle gym, which has been a lot of fun, ranging from finance to product development to even leading tech teams, one of my passions has always been digital advertising. And back in the late 90s, I was part of CBS Market Watch, where we introduced online ads as a revenue source for financial news and information. And at Amazon, I was lucky enough to have the opportunity to be part of the inaugural display ads team back in 2007. So we saw how an audience and first-party data could really help ignite buyer discovery on a platform where people already had their credit cards out. From there, I was also able to work in developing the Amazon sponsored products product, and then moving to help third-party sellers grow their businesses on Amazon. So all of this coming together just made the eBay opportunity one that I couldn't resist. And particularly as during the pandemic, just had such an amazing opportunity to help businesses of all sizes, and particularly small businesses, help buyers discover their products.
Well, that's an exciting answer. And as I recall, you live in Seattle, is that right?
Yes,
Right.
I'm in Seattle, and we're getting our first taste of real summer here. So it's been a great transition virtually to eBay, which, as you know, is headquartered in San Jose.
Right. And not only a taste of summer, but also we're just coming through a very, very hot weekend by the time this airs. It's a record breaker. I am in Oregon, so we're not so very far from each other. Brian Beckman, you're living in Boise, so you're just a couple hundred miles to the east of where I'm sitting right now. Tell us about how you came to HP. You had a stint at eBay, and also I think our audience might use find useful a sort of primer on what third-party marketplaces are and why HP cares about them. Let me just clarify, there are two HPs. There was HP Mitosis a couple of years ago, and I think your focus, your version of HP is the consumer version where you're selling things like printers and laptops. Is that right?
That's absolutely correct, Brad. So I'm part of HP Inc. and specifically part of the HP store online. And I came to HP about 3 years ago. I really started my career also working in finance, which eventually evolved to partner management, and actually used to manage a lot of our channel partnerships with for Yahoo Local, where I really found a lot my passion, really enabling small businesses to have a presence online, which ironically, after many years of managing large partnerships at Yahoo, from everything from app developers to search and ad partnerships, I eventually ended up going to eBay, where I also, once again, was helping small businesses come online and have an online presence. So, eBay was a wonderful experience, and it's an incredible company and an incredible community. But when I had an opportunity to join HP, was really very exciting for me, because HP was really looking at a new opportunity to understand how could we as HP as a store and HP as a brand better engage with customers. And fundamentally, how do we empower customers to find what they need so they can purchase the right products at the right time? And when you take a step back and look at commerce as a whole, it seems very natural that we as a brand and as a store need to go to where those shoppers are already engaged, those platforms that are already selling our products. And we want to be there to support, not only support our authorized sellers, but make sure that that customer has an authentic HP brand buying experience. And how can we as a brand help elevate the HP buying experience as a whole throughout the entire platform? So, and then go ahead.
No, please.
And then specifically for third-party marketplaces versus first-party marketplaces. So I represent our HP stores on third-party marketplaces, which are generally, we are just another seller on the marketplace. On some marketplaces, we have a direct relationship where we can sell directly to that brand or that store. But then as a third-party seller, we actually manage all our own customer service, all our own fulfillment, all our content, everything like a typical third-party seller would on any marketplace.
Well, that's an extraordinarily useful answer. Thank you. Elizabeth, we at IAB have a growing body of work around retail media, including a just launched retail media committee, particularly as third-party cookies are declining, although they just got a stay of execution for about another couple of years from Google, that retail media is becoming more and more important. And yet this is also seems like it's more than ordinary retail media, given what Brian was just saying about fulfillment and customer service. So tell us about how the marketplaces at eBay fit into retail media generally.
Yeah, I think one of the differences at eBay is we're really looking at meeting the customer where they're at and understanding their buying needs and how to help them discover products on eBay from brands that they already love. And one thing that I was surprised to hear when I was joining eBay is over 91% of items are sold at a fixed price. And I thought eBay was more auction, perhaps more C2C, and understanding that that is not the case. And actually a lot of people are coming and searching for those brands and taking that journey. And the average purchase journey varies anywhere from in the study we saw, I think, from 20 to 29 days, and sometimes getting longer as we end the pandemic, in part because people are looking for quality and they're looking for those quality items. But as we see that journey and we see what customers are shopping for, it really helps us use our first party data to meet them where they're at. So it might be a new buyer to eBay, someone who's just discovering the selection we have to offer. It could be someone who's sold and bought on eBay and is intrigued by that call to action around some promotion ending or a coupon. So using that first party data in the same way we do to drive conversion on eBay and drive buyers to eBay, advertisers can really benefit. And we've seen that both in our search term usage, both with our current product, Promoted Listings, and with a new product that's in beta right now, a cost per click model, where we can take advantage of what the buyers are searching for, but then pair that with display ads and with promoted brands to be able to really come full circle and take them along the whole journey. And I think that's something that we'll only see be amplified as regulatory changes happen, and people are looking for a safe and trusted environment to shop and to give their personal information.
So let's dig in on the study. The bedeviling questions for everybody are things like what behaviors are changed forever, what behaviors are going to snap back to pre-pandemic norms. Hugs are back, by the way. I've just been seeing that. It's really quite delightful. Some people were saying that we would never shake hands again. Most of those people, I think, were epidemiologists, but they were wrong, because everywhere I go, people are just popping back out, and as we've seen, just desperate to get out of the house and see other people. That has an interesting potential impact on e-commerce. So Elizabeth, sort of why does eBay invest in studies like this? And then let's get into some of the highlights from the study.
Yeah, that's a great question. I think first, in terms of why to invest in the studies, it's a continued commitment to our partners and to really understand that customer behavior, particularly attitudinal changes. And when you're marketing, when you're thinking about how to reach that buyer, you need to understand what their perspective is. So we think that these surveys really help contribute to that. For example, kind of jumping into some of the results, we saw that 25% of eBay shoppers were actually shopping more as the reopening has occurred versus 20% of online shoppers. And both of those stats, I think, are really interesting and show that the habits developed as people were at home are not habits that will just go away. People love the convenience. They love the discovery. It's not to say that they won't also be out at brick and mortar stores experiencing things in the physical world, but definitely seeing some of those behaviors picked up during the last year are actually increasing. We also see on eBay some unique trends around categories like trading cards and sneakers and luxury goods, where eBay is uniquely positioned to meet that buyer demand. And I'm sure you've heard of the Roaring 20s and how we're coming back, and we're coming back big. And you hear about it in travel, but also with retail, and thinking, when I get out there, what am I going to wear? Am I going to have the best shoes? Am I going to have the new handbag? And so a lot of those trends that we're seeing in the world, and how people want to show up when they're back out at parties and vacationing, think e-commerce and eBay in particular are really well positioned to meet that demand.
Well, that's an exciting answer. But when it comes to how, and Brian, this question I'm going to pose first to Elizabeth and then to you, how do brands do something with the data that you're saying? You talked about some categories, being more, I think, alluring than others. And Brian, I have handy some of the studies, some of the data about consumer electronics. But Elizabeth, what should they be doing with this information?
Yeah, I think looking at their brand objectives, and trying to create a message that's in line with that, with the attitude and the way customers are thinking about shopping. So for example, in the study we found with Gen Z, coupons were actually more preferred compared to millennials. And also that although the purchases were flat, the average spend was up almost 30% post-pandemic. So what that shows is Gen Z in particular on eBay is investing in higher priced items. And those are from some of the categories I mentioned. But one of the ways brands can take that information and market is go take it head on. For example, one of our brands, Adidas, is at the top of our daily deals page with the messaging around celebrate reopenings with Adidas and a 20% coupon. And bringing that information, knowing that that will resonate with one of your target customers has been a great way for brands to use that information. In addition, creating campaigns that resonate with the continued interest. For example, charity is huge for eBay. And I read a stat that last year in 2020, our community generated over 123 million in charitable donations. So as we know, that resonates with the customer when a brand is able to align with that charity. And one example we have is working with Body Armor on a campaign to auction autographed bottles of the sports drink. And 100% of those proceeds are going to charity. So examples like that really help take that data and understanding that consumer mindset and then bringing it to the platform in a way that's both fun, creative, and generates those mentions and that brand awareness that the company is looking for.
So Brian, let's hand this to you. You've been seeing some of the early results of the study. What are you planning to do with it? And do you have any response to what Elizabeth was just sharing with us?
Yeah, I think Elizabeth made some really good points. And I think, one of the first things that she said was, how do we, connect and meet the needs of the modern buyer? And I think that really resonates with me very much so, because if you think about everything that happened with HP last year, we as a brand with our laptops went from one laptop per household and really being a nice to have to ultimately really becoming an essential item, as people needed their laptops to work, children needed their laptops to go to school, and many households now may have 2 to 3 to 4 or almost versus one laptop per household, a laptop per person within that household, which was just a dynamic change that happened within a really short period of time. And as we look at extending our customer base, I think it's imperative that we continue to look at studies like this to understand how we reach different audiences, and specifically different generational gaps. For Generation Z specifically, they may think about commerce and products and brands very differently than millennials did or Generation X did. Although discounts may very much apply to other generations, Gen Z is extremely conscious about social consciousness and the environment. So how do we change our messaging as a brand to resonate with that audience and really focus on some of the extraordinary work our company is already doing, specifically within the environmental space, whether it's our biodegradable ink or our Energy Star certifications within our electronics products? We're already, really have taken a very forefront stance at what we're doing for the environment. And, just recently announced 5-10-year plans. How do we make that part of the conversation for our Generation Z versus just talking about what we've already done? Because talking about a discount may not resonate with that audience as much as what we're doing as far as an environmental standpoint to really connect with what their values are.
Well, I want to link this conversation about sustainability to a series of other conversations we've been having on IAB There, to questions about values. Connie Brahms of Unilever notably at our ALM event said that brands need to both be a good value and also have values. I spoke with Lotta McGilvray of Purpose Worldwide and Shannon LaPierre of Stanley Black & Decker about a return on purpose metric, which I think is something that's bubbling up. So this is important stuff, and I think extends far beyond this conversation. Elizabeth, in a recent interview, you talked about sustainability and specifically about how eBay, and I believe the word was re-commerce, which I thought was lovely. Can you extend on what Brian was just saying?
Yeah, I love what Brian was saying and agree 100%. It's about how you're telling your story on the platform, and that's a big part of connecting with the customer. And that eBay has always been about re-commerce, to think about you have something, not quite using it the way you used to. How can I find a home? And within our in our fashion category, we definitely love to use the term pre-loved versus used. So that's something that I've adopted and can absolutely relate to, because you just hate to take things that are perfectly good, might not fit you or your children anymore, and find a home for someone that will love them. So with eBay, we have the perfect platform to do that, and to help customers know whether they're buying new or whether they're buying pre-loved items, that the brands are there and that they can trust in the products that they're buying. And so for example, I spoke about luxury goods in a previous answer. Luxury goods are great, but if you can find an authentic luxury good at a great price, that's even better. And I know personally, I'm proud of myself when I can do that. It's like, not a treasure hunt might be one way to say it, but being able to discover and find the value, but also know that you're making a positive impact on the world by taking something that otherwise could end up, unused or just, wasting away somewhere. So that's absolutely one of eBay's areas of focus, and working with brands to help get that message across. Anything from within the store's product, which we are working on revamping, where brands can tell their story and include some of that, how they are valuable, why they are valuable, and that can mean different things to different audiences. We're also thinking about with the consumer, just how to take that feedback and hear that consumer voice and give that back to the brand. So having that two-way dialogue, making community a really big part of eBay, also augments the information that we can share with brands to help them craft that story.
Well, I happen to have here in-house in the Barron's, Casa de Barron's, I have a 20-year-old daughter, and she's all in on, re-commerce and thrifting, both online and off. Let's dig back into the study a little bit, though. One of the things, since we've been talking about brands, that I was intrigued by is that 25% of total online shoppers and then 14% of eBay shoppers said that they're considering more brands than they used to. And so this is an opportunity for brands to sort of wedge their way into a consideration set where they might not have been able to get earlier. So can you, Elizabeth, and Brian, I'll turn to you with the same question, but can you make sense of this for me? Why might that be?
Yeah, it's an interesting data point. And I love when in studies we're surprised by information. You might have thoughts around what you're going to hear, and then a data point like this is a little bit unique for eBay. How I interpret this is that eBay shoppers are very brand loyal, and they're coming to eBay and they're expecting to find items from these brands, whether it's through authorized resellers, whether it is a pre-loved item, or whether it's a new item. That's one of the value propositions that eBay has, that trusted environment to come and shop for the brands that you know. And it gives us opportunity for brands to find those shoppers that might not know they're on eBay. And we still have many brands who are not selling either some or all of their catalogs on the platform. And so one of our goals is to continue to work to get those brands on board, but to help them with the cold start problem through advertising, through promotional opportunities. And one of the key categories I'll just end on is our certified refurbished category. So understanding that you can come and get a great brand on eBay where the manufacturer has done the work to make sure that it is up to standards and reliable, but you're getting such a good value for that item. So tying it back to the question on the 14% of eBay buyers versus the 25% of all buyers, I think eBay is kind of emerging as a place for brands to play and to really engage with customers and know that that brand loyalty is there and can be built upon.
So before I turn to Brian, let's add some more data from the study into the question, but maybe that'll give you something new to chew on. One of the things that I saw as we doubled down and zeroed in on consumer electronics, that 25% of all online shoppers bought new electronics online for the first time in the last year, which supports what you were saying about the desperate need for laptops because suddenly everybody's living their lives online. 71% of all online shoppers, and this is the one that's striking, will continue to buy new electronics, consumer electronics online on the go forward. 80% of eBay shoppers, just a 9% uptick, 9 percentage point uptick, will buy new electronics online. And then 55% of all online shoppers are interested in buying used consumer electronics online. So based on the study and based on what Elizabeth was just saying, Brian, what do you do with that as a brand?
Well, I mean, I think that's extremely interesting. I mean, I think, first and foremost, we as a brand need to remain committed to our customers. And, I think a big part of the reason why customers are seeking brands now more than ever is really trust. During the pandemic, almost all companies faced shortages with various different components, or with supply constraints, or whether it was challenges with shipping due to the overall influx in e-commerce and just our current infrastructure in the country. And I think that brands that really took the stance of how can they improve the buying experience for their customers right now are going to end up really taking those customers and able to retain those customers that had a positive buying experience will continue purchasing from those brands, because when they needed their products the most, the brands were able to deliver. And I think from our perspective, or from my perspective, it's if there was a fundamental change with shoppers from not purchasing electronics because you wanted to go in a brick and mortar store and hold your printer or hold your laptop and really see how it felt, to being comfortable purchasing something online. I think that only exemplifies the need why brands need to focus more on having that structured data, having that content, so buyers can make an educated decision and purchase the products that they actually need. And we as a brand have done a phenomenal job at this for years, building that customer trust and building our retail packaging to make sure that the customer can really see the value on our products. And from my perspective, the next evolution of that is online, our product detail pages. How do we make them robust enough to make sure the customer has the information that they need to make that educated choice?
Those are both terrific answers. Let's wind up with a sort of slightly more speculative thing, which is, and this could be either personally or professionally, but we expect that we're going to have turbulence over the next 3 to 6 months. Vaccinations are spreading out in uneven ways. There are people who are resisting vaccinations. Some places are opening up, some places are opening up more slowly. So just what are you both, and we'll go with you, Brian, first, and then we'll give Elizabeth the last word. What are you focused on in the next 3 months and the next 6 months? Brian?
I would really say the buyer's journey. I mean, as I just mentioned, as far as content, how do we enhance our content? How do we improve our overall experience and really focus on turning those shoppers into buyers? We know that people are getting better at navigating the internet, and they're doing more research. So how do we convey our value prop to those consumers, whether it's the value of our products or aligning with their personal values, to highlight, to really make sure we're building a meaningful relationship with any potential shopper on the site.
Elizabeth, the next 3 months, the next 6 months, what's keeping you up at night, or what are the big opportunities you're leaning into?
Yeah, I would just say from a personal perspective, just getting out there and being with people. And that could be on a business, from a professional standpoint or from a personal standpoint, and making that connection and really listening to customers. And even though I think we've all done very well in this virtual environment, how can we get together and really talk and learn together? So collaboration is one thing that's on my mind. From a business and product perspective, we are laser focused on an experiment with increasing the options for marketing on eBay and off eBay as well. So the number of products and the iterations that we'll have over the next few months are significant, and educating customers and then listening to customers about how these changes are working. How are the new products integrating with the existing, and how are the new products able to help them achieve their goals? Sometimes when you think about what's next, you need to think, I know one step and I'm going to take that step, listen, get feedback, and then move on to the next. And even though we have some great models behind us in terms of what's worked in the past, the world is changing. It's changing all the time. And so really trying to stay ahead of that. And similar to what Brian mentioned with the customer journey, understanding that right messaging at the right time and what the customer wants to hear. And if we're able to do that through that will be a major accomplishment at the end of this 6-month period.
Well, that's fantastic. So this study, not only will we be watching eBay closely over the next 3 to 6 months and beyond, but for those of you who are interested in actually downloading the study, it is available right now at www.ebayads.com. So I'm so grateful to both of you for joining us. Brian Beckman of HP Marketplaces and Elizabeth Rommel of eBay Ads. Thank you for joining us on IAB There.
Thank you, Brad.
Thank you for having us.
So not only is the study available at www.ebayads.com, but we should also tell you about some other things. For example, we do have a retail media committee here at the IAB. And if you thrill to the idea of talking more about retail media and how it can advance your brand goals, please join us in that committee. We also will be taking this topic up and many like it at our Brand Disruption Summit, which is in early November, starting November 8th. And you can find out about both of these things and so many other things at www.iab.com. And now, IAB There is a production of the Interactive Advertising Bureau. Our show today was produced by Connor Healy, Joe Pilla, James Linney, and Loretta Bain. I'm Brad Behrens, Editor-in-Chief here at the IAB. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time on IAB There. Bye-bye, everybody.